Okay, great. Welcome to the WEConnect Academy Live WEConnect International Day Prep Series. So we are offering a series of webinars and chances for you to connect online with us to prepare you for WEConnect International Day, which is being held in conjunction with the WeBank International Conference from June 22nd to June 26th, 2015. So you can see on your screens, can everyone see their screen and see the PowerPoint on it?
We can see it here.
Great. So now that I'm going to ask everybody to mute your phones, and if you do have any questions, you can use the chat function on the right-hand side of your screen to ask any questions. I can type in a brief message so you can see what I'm talking about. And so we can go from there, so you can ask questions. You don't have to wait for me to stop talking. So welcome to the webinar. I am Liz Whitehead. I am the Director of Women's Business Development for WeConnect International. And I've attended the WeBank conference. I think it's been going on for about 15 years. And actually maybe even longer, 16 years, and I've probably been to about 12 of those conferences. I've been to WeConnect International Day for 6 years, and I look forward to sharing what I've learned and going through those conferences, and then also hearing any feedback or questions you have as you attend the conference for the first, 5th, or 10th time yourself. So, as I mentioned, WeConnect International Day, the conferences, we'll start with that and then go into why you want to be there, why we do it in coordination with the WeBank conference. But since you're a WeConnect International WBE, we'll start with that. So the WeConnect International Day is June 22nd. It's a day-long conference, and what we plan to do there is bring together women business owners and WeConnect International corporate members from around the world. This is a chance to strengthen business relationships, to make new connections, and to really market your business. I've heard this conference, this day, described as the ability to make 25 sales calls in a single day. And in coordination with the WeBank conference, which we'll explain in a little bit, you have the opportunity to make even more than that. So what I want to let you know is that you can come to the conference, expect to build connections, but really where the rubber hits the road in terms of leveraging your certification and making it work for you is in this time you're spending before the conference to prepare and in the time you'll spend after the conference to follow up. But we're going to go through what that means. This series of webinars, we actually have 4 coming up. They're repeated in case you miss it on one of the Thursdays, so we will have one every Thursday until the conference. And some of them are open to everybody, some of them are open to just certified business owners, but the more you prepare, the more you will get out of the conference. But you know that because that's why you're here now. So let's move on to a little bit about WeConnect International. I assume that you know a little bit about it since you're here, but I'm just going to go through an overview of what WeConnect International is, because it'll lay a foundation for why you might want to come to WeConnect International Day. So WeConnect International connects non-U.S. businesses to global value chains. We have a global database of women-owned businesses. There's about 5,000 women-owned businesses in the database now. There's free registration for women business owners worldwide, and we have registrations coming from 90-plus countries. We also offer certification, which is different than self-registration in that it actually involves an assessment, a one-on-one interview with a business owner at her place of business to make sure that they qualify for the certification that WeConnect International offers. And we'll get into that criteria a little later. We offer training and certification to women-owned businesses in the following countries. You can see it on your screen, so I won't go through them all, but needless to say, all of the continents are represented except Antarctica. So, WeConnect International Corporate Leadership. We're getting into the key reasons why you might want to attend WeConnect International Day. One of the big reasons, and probably the big reason why you know about WeConnect International here today, is the corporate leadership. When you take a look at this list of corporations, these are corporations that not only accept the WeConnect International certification, but have also agreed to support WeConnect International, to support the leaders in our different countries, and you, the women business owners, in accessing their global value chains. So they not only accept it, they not only think it's a good thing, but these are the corporations that are actively involved and engaged with us. There are many other corporations that will actually accept the certification, or when you go to a trade fair, will know what it is. But I highly recommend, as you look at which companies you want to target, that these are the companies that are going to be very receptive to the international business. It doesn't mean they have operations in every country. It doesn't mean they're necessarily looking for what every business owner is providing, but it's a good start as you begin to target your list. Well, this webinar deals with more of the what and why of why you want to come to the conference, and the how you prepare is going to come in a later webinar. This slide is important for narrowing down who you actually want to target at the conference. So we're getting a little bit into the how you want to do it, but that's your first lesson learned from this webinar, is that it's really impossible to develop a good pitch and be able to really sell your value to all of these companies. And you really want to hone it down to the ones you can provide the most value for. It looks like someone just joined us. Diana?
Yes.
Oh, great. We just got started. We were talking a little bit about the corporate leadership of WeConnect International. We're doing a recording, so you can definitely go back and see what you've missed, but I'll start with this slide and we can go forward, and you haven't missed that much at all. I was describing why the WeConnect International corporate leadership is important. It's probably one of the reasons why you're here today, is to find out more about how you can access the global value chains of these companies. And they actually support WeConnect International because they're interested in connecting with business owners like you. So I was mentioning, as you think about not only preparing for WeConnect International Day or a large trade fair, but just in general, as you think about leveraging your certification throughout the year, these are the companies that are going to be receptive to the WeConnect International certified businesses, and that are going to be able to understand the certification and help you along on the process. Now, one caveat, I said it again, but I think it's worth repeating. That doesn't mean that they automatically are going to have business for you, that they're looking for companies in your industry, but one of the important parts of leveraging the certification is focusing and looking at this list of companies. If you focus on not even all of these, but 5 or 7 of these companies, then that will make your pitch more effective, and you'll be able to actually target your pitches to the companies that are that you want to do business with. So I mentioned we'll get a little bit more into that in the second webinar, which is how you approach the companies. Right now we're just giving an overview of what WeConnect International Day is and what you can get out of it. But I think that's a key lesson to take from, if you take one thing from this webinar, it should be that you need to focus. It's impossible to have an effective pitch for all of these companies. And the more you focus, the better you'll be. You're here, so you're already preparing for the conference, so that's a good first step. And we're just going to talk to you a little bit more about what you need to do to prepare, what you need to know, and then in the next webinar we'll talk about what you need to do. So these companies are all members of WeConnect International because women's businesses are a global opportunity. So just to recap some of the highlights that I'm sure everyone in this call has heard before, about a third to 40% of all privately held businesses are women-owned. In the developing world, there's 8 to 10 million small and medium women-owned businesses, but right now, about 1% of corporate and government spend is spent on those companies. Now, as you can see, that's a big gap, and the way our corporate members look at this is it's not only a gap, but it's an opportunity. It's an opportunity to reach into these markets, to engage with them, and make their companies and their value chains stronger. The reason for that is because as consumers, women make over 70% of consumer purchasing decisions, and they impact over $20 trillion in annual global spend. So the companies that we work with realize if they're not addressing that market, both as consumers, but then also as suppliers, then they're missing out on a tremendous opportunity and a lot of money and spend. So that gets to, I think, the second key learning from this webinar, which is the business case for global supplier diversity. Why do our corporate members come to WEConnect International Day? Why are they supporting us? And I think when you understand that, when you understand your potential client, then you can create an even better, more focused pitch toward them about your business. Not only what you sell and the products you sell, but the solutions you can provide to their problems. So the business case for these corporate members is that by working with WEConnect International, and more importantly with the women business owners as suppliers, they demonstrate commitment to governments and communities that they want to work in those communities. They do enhance their company brand and their community engagement. The women business owners provide them an opportunity to innovate and develop a competitive advantage. That's really a result, that's one of the main things that the global supplier diversity programs in the U.S. are focused on. Small business owners tend to be more flexible and more nimble in being able to provide solutions or fix issues down the way. So innovation is one of the key areas that our corporate members are looking for when they're looking to do business with women and small companies. Along with that, working with women business owners mirrors their diverse customer and employee base. Going back to that stat about women making 70% of consumer purchasing decisions. If women are buying the stuff that you're selling, it makes sense that you want women to make the stuff that you're selling, because the women will know what women want. You reduce costs with more competitive bids, and that's just basic business. The more competition you have in your value chains, the more you're able to get competitive bids. That and women business owners tend to offer a very high quality to cost ratio. So for the same amount of money, women business owners will tend to produce more quality. And in fact, Walmart found in their research with their consumer base that 90% of their consumers, who are mostly women, believe that products made by women-owned businesses are of higher quality. So that's one of the things that they're looking for. Along with, so we've gone through demonstrating commitment to governments, innovation, mirroring the diverse customer and employee base, and reducing costs. The other thing is working with women business owners in a community gives them access to local knowledge and networks. It helps them be more successful when they're selling products and services within that community. And it's just meeting growing customer demand. This is especially true in the US and UK markets, and is becoming more true in other countries' markets, which is that customers are demanding to know where the stuff they're buying is coming from. And when our corporate members can tell a story that this is coming from a woman business owner in Peru, this is coming from a woman business owner in Canada, and really get behind that company to say, these are the people that are benefiting from this, then that makes their products, again, more competitive. So that's one of the things that they are meeting when they are looking for a good story and an opportunity to tell their story when they're doing business with women business owners. So that is the business case. We could probably develop a whole webinar based just around this slide, but I tell you this to give you the idea that in no part of this are the corporations looking to do business with women as a philanthropic activity. They are looking to do business with women because many of our corporate members have had what we call supplier diversity or supplier diversity and inclusion programs for many years, and they've done business with women and in the U.S. Minority business owners since the civil rights era in the U.S., since the 1960s. And what they found was while those programs initially started out as social justice programs and the opportunity to address disparities that way, what they found was they had a lot of side benefits in terms of all of these different things. They were getting more innovative businesses. They were getting more nimble solutions. And I think one way to sum it up is that if you are at IBM or Walmart and you're doing business with a supplier, when you're dealing with the women business owners in our network, if you're having an issue with their contract or with their supplies or with their timeline or with their budget, you can generally get that CEO on the phone. That's not necessarily true when you're doing business with a much larger company. And that's just a starting point for how you can see that this program is not about just doing the right thing, although that's part of it because they're addressing that disparity, but it's really about how they can make their bottom line more competitive. So that's important to know as you approach our corporate members, again, whether at WEConnect International Day or in the course of the year, you need to know that they're looking at this from a business perspective. So the more you can provide these kind of solutions, innovative solutions, reducing costs, the better your pitch will be when you approach the corporate members. So that's the business case. Yep. Is there a question? Okay. I'm going to keep going. If you do have a question as I'm talking, there's also the chat screen in the bottom right-hand corner. So you can always just type something up and I'll get to it when I finish my sentence because I tend to just keep talking if I don't hear everybody. So you can always do that or you can just ask a question as we go. So the WEConnect International Certification Standard. So we've heard about the business case, we've heard about the corporate members. Why is the certification important? We self-register businesses so we can find them in our different countries and markets where we operate. And then this certification is important for our corporate members to make sure they maintain integrity in their corporate supplier diversity programs. They want to make sure that when they are engaging with communities and building their brand around being a company that's doing business with women, that the suppliers they're doing business with are actually businesses that are owned, operated, managed, and controlled by women. And the way we do that is making sure that the ownership is at least 51% held by one or more women, and that the management and control of the company is in the hands of women. So the certification process is probably the topic for another webinar, but the reason that this is important is because our corporate members need to maintain that integrity when they are touting these programs and achieving their supplier diversity and inclusion goals. So we work with them to make sure that our standards are universal and global and encompass what they need to track spend in their programs. So typically, the corporations that we work with require that women-owned suppliers be certified. In order to come to WEConnect International Day or the WeBank conference, you don't have to be a certified company. You will get a discount if you're certified, but we strongly recommend that if you're not certified, you at least start the process before thinking about coming to these conferences, because that will, again, make your pitch stronger when you're talking to these companies. It demonstrates a commitment to helping them achieve their goal. And just like I talked about before, when you're approaching them from the perspective of, you have a problem and I'm solving it, here is one issue or one objective they have that you're showing them you're committed to helping them achieve, which is them counting their number of certified suppliers. Okay, so WEConnect International results and impact. So I think a good question, WEConnect is in its 5th year, or it's 5 years old, and so it's a good time to evaluate, is it working? Are the companies doing business? And I think the answer overall is yes. And there's several different ways that that happens, that WEConnect International is able to connect business owners with success, to help them achieve different goals. So one of those goals that the WEConnect International Network helps with is visibility and awards. We have nominated business owners from around the world to win Enterprising Women Awards, the International Women Entrepreneurial Contest Awards, and the Tuck WeBank program. We're actually looking for applicants for the Tuck WeBank program right now. We'll be sending out emails, so if you're a certified business owner, you're eligible for that program. That is a week-long executive training program, which IBM sponsors, and it takes place at the IBM location in Palisades, New York, and it's an opportunity for a woman business owner to meet with 50 of her peers and really work on her business. It's been described as getting an MBA in a week, and it's an MBA specific to entrepreneurship. So that's something to keep in mind. If you have any questions about that, I can talk about it when I'm done with this presentation. But those are some things, again, when we talk about preparation, that will prepare you for your different meetings with the corporations. You will know not only what corporate members want to see, but you also have greater insight into your business, your value add, and what differentiates you as a company. I recognize I'm getting still a little more into the how you present yourself to these companies, but I think as you think about if you want to come to WEConnect International Day and all the reasons to come, I think starting to think about how you would present yourself and to which companies is a good idea. It's hard to separate those two things. The other way WEConnect International provides results is in terms of strengthening client relationships. So you may be a company that's already doing business with a major corporation, in which case the certification, if you're already doing business with some of the corporations that are WEConnect International members, you have an opportunity to actually expand business and expand your client contacts within that company. One example of that is Superseva in India. They were doing business with IBM, but upon becoming certified and, again, as I mentioned, helping IBM achieve their goals, showing a commitment to providing another solution to their client, then IBM started looking to them for even more business. We have lots of different success stories on our website where you can go through and see how WEConnect International not only helped a company get a new contract or get introduced to new clients, but what the impact actually had on their company. So two other ways that we've shown impacts for business owners is in terms of revenue growth. So with larger contracts often comes a growth in revenue, and then employee growth. In order to fulfill these contracts, many of our women business owners have hired more people and been able to grow that way, along with the revenue growth. So this just lists a couple of examples, and again, on the WEConnect International website, you can see what these women's stories are, how the businesses have grown, and what they're looking toward in the future. But if any of these things, visibility and awards, strengthening client relationships, employee growth, and revenue growth, are part of your objectives and part of the things you want to achieve through your WEConnect International certification, then coming to these kind of international events is a great way to start that process. As I mentioned before, it's not the end of that process, though. The most important things that you do in terms of the conference are what you're doing now, which is 1, preparing, 2, attending the conference. So you go, you show up and meet the people. But then after that, probably the single most important thing is to actually follow up. And we'll get a little bit into that in later webinars, but I think this provides you a good starting point for, okay, I want to achieve these things. What do I need to do to get there? So WeConnect International Day. This is cut off a little bit. It says WeConnect International Day. This is just the agenda. It's pretty bare bones because we are going to be updating this, and the best, most up-to-date agenda will always be on our website. But I wanted to point out a few things that are going to be of interest to someone who is coming to the conference. One is that we are doing this, you can see that we will have a speaker from WeBank there. So we're doing this in coordination with WeBank's conference. I'll get into that and what that means a little later. But then 2, we're going to have the participation of our corporate members and the women business owners that have actually been successful in doing business with our corporate members. So the corporate members are going to talk to you a little bit about what I'm conveying here, but from their perspective. So what are they looking for? What is the profile of the type of company that they want to do business with? What are some pitfalls that business owners face when they're approaching corporate members? And what's going to make our certified companies successful, not only at this conference, but throughout the year in terms of trying to do business with them? So I think the global panel is a great way to get the resources from these people face-to-face. Secondly, or thirdly rather, I think the profiles and success, I just discussed some of the impacts and some of the results. But really what can help you, I know it helps business owners in their business, is seeing someone like you and how they did it. What were the connections they made? How long did it take? What were the changes that they had to make in their business to make this successful? And we're going to profile some international WBEs and the corporate members that they did business with so you can hear both sides of that story. So I'd say there's 3 things here that are important. 1, the coordination with WeBank. 2, the corporate engagement and the hands-on participation that they are giving us, and that you'll be able to talk to these people, follow up with them, find out what they need. And then 3, just the stories of how it worked and how did these successes come about and how can you emulate that in your own business. We're going to be fleshing out that afternoon with more sessions, but we'll probably do some hands-on webinars into how does this actually work, what else can you do to prepare before the WeBank conference the next day. So I'm going to go into, I'll get to the logo in a second, but I do want to go into preparing for the WeBank conference. So what is the WeBank conference and why do we hold WeConnect International Day in Austin at the same time? So the WeBank conference is a conference of about 3,000 people, probably even more this year, and it includes global corporations that are looking to do business with women and women business owners from around the U.S., many of whom have been very successful in leveraging their certification, and they are excellent role models, and many of whom are probably just starting out, maybe have attended a few local events but haven't attended a major conference before. So the WeBank conference brings all of these people together with the express purpose of corporate members finding women business owners as suppliers. There's the big event at the conference is the trade fair, and at the trade fair, you have an opportunity to go around to the corporate booths and actually find out from them, first of all, what they're looking for, And then secondly, tell them what you're selling and identify, again, if you can solve any problems for them, if you can provide any solutions. The other thing that is interesting about the WeBank conference is these companies, let me just share my screen so you can see. Okay, you can see this here. So here are some of the corporate members that are sponsoring. If you're interested in doing business with Chevron, Dell, or PepsiCo, this is an excellent chance. They will be bringing lots of people to this conference. It's an excellent chance to get to meet one of their representatives. But there's also these ones, Pinnacle, Techway, and TransExpedite. Those are other women's business enterprises. So they're companies just like yours that have leveraged their certification and are now giving back to sponsor the conference and gain additional visibility through the conference. So I think one of the reasons why WEConnect hosts our WEConnect International Day in coordination with WeBank, along with the fact that there are U.S. partners, and it's a great opportunity to combine resources and meet even more corporate members. But it's also because this showcases how supplier diversity actually works. These companies that have been successful in leveraging their certification, and again, they're willing to give back. So they can serve as role models. You'll hear their stories throughout the conference and get a sense of how the certification might work for you. So in talking about preparation for the conference, the other thing that WEConnect International partners with WeBank on, along with, we both offer the same universally accepted standard of certification. We do an international conference in coordination with WeBank in the U.S. We also work with WeBank and Walmart to offer the women-owned logo. So the women-owned logo was launched at the WeBank conference last year, and it's used by businesses certified by either WEConnect International or WeBank and can be used on products, promotional material, or websites. So Walmart is promoting retail products with the logo that have their logo on the packaging. And as I mentioned before, the reason they're doing this is because female customers assume products made by women are of better quality compared to similar products. When you think about, am I coming to the conference, does it make sense? What do I need to prepare? What do I need to have in advance? Certainly identifying, does your product lend itself to retail? Can you put it on, if you are a service-based company, maybe you don't have a product. If you're a service-based company, you can put it on your website, your business card. Is this women-owned logo something that is going to promote your company? Or you want to be seen as a company that has high-quality products or a high-quality service. And this logo can help do that for consumer, when you are looking at a consumer-based business. It's also a very quick way for the corporate members to identify, okay, you're a certified company. The women-owned logo will be definitely recognized by the companies there, because as I mentioned, we launched it last year. And if you have any questions about the logo itself or feel like you want to use it on your products, you can definitely go to the website, womenownedlogo.com, or you can contact us at WeConnect at info@weconnectinternational.org and find out more about how to use it. But I think this is the first year where we will actually be seeing it on a lot of packaging and a lot of products. There will also be a women-owned row. So there will be a set pavilion for companies that are using the women-owned logo. So you'll be able to talk to them and how it has helped their business and see how they're putting it on their packaging. Okay, so those are the reasons why to attend the conference. And I'll get into, I'm going to go back before I get into the e-network. Those are the reasons why you should attend. that there are a lot of corporate members that are going to be there. There's a lot of multinational corporations to meet. There's also a lot of other women business owners who've been successful doing the kind of thing that you're trying to do. So there's tremendous opportunities at the conference. There's also going to be a specific program just for international businesses. So while the WeBank conference is very big and will incorporate U.S. business owners and many corporate members who are maybe just learning about the WeConnect International certification, WeConnect International Day offers you an opportunity to really find out which companies are looking for you and be able to meet them in a more intimate environment. If you are located in a market that has a lot of local events, it's also an opportunity to meet members of the corporation that you might not meet in your country. So as I mentioned, in terms of strengthening relationships, you can meet more people, more representatives from these companies, particularly the sponsor companies who are going to be very well represented and want to see a lot of women business owners come out for their efforts. So that's all the why. If you're convinced and you decide you want to come to WeConnect International Day and the WeBank International Conference, the next series of webinars are going to be about how to prepare. So I talked a little bit about that in terms of targeting your corporate market, targeting the corporate members that you believe are your market, investigating the women-owned logo to see if that's something as a certified business you can put on your products. If you're not certified, looking into certification and seeing if that is right for your business, and if the companies that we support WeConnect International are looking for a product like yours, and do they want you to be certified. So those are all some things that you can do to prepare. Once you've decided, yep, I'm certified, so I'm going to come, or I'm not certified yet, but I plan to do it in the very near future, then we can start to think about what are the things I actually need to do to get that ready. I'm going to give you a little teaser for the next webinar, and I would say the first thing I would tell anyone who's interested in coming to the conference to do is to take a look at the marketing materials that they already have, even if they don't know that they have them. And one of the best resources for all of the WeConnect International certified businesses is their own profile on the directory. This is a thing that the corporate members use to search for women business owners, or sometimes they will ask us to help them source for business owners through our database. And the way we do that is we look at keywords, products and service categories, and the countries where you're located. So you want to make sure, probably as a business owner, when you are filling this out, you're filling it out as an application for certification. But now we want you to think about it as a way to market yourself to these companies. So you want to go in and make sure that your profile is up to date, that the keywords that you put in your product description accurately reflect what you're providing, because when either we at WeConnect or our corporate members are looking for that, they may just type in one keyword. So for example, if you're a law firm and you put in law firm as the description of your company, if a company or if we are searching for legal services, you won't come up. So we want to make sure that your profile and the way you present yourself is ready to go in advance of the conference. And that's important because the key thing to know about the conference, as I mentioned a couple times, but it's worth repeating again, is that the important part of meeting all these people is not as much the time you meet them, but the time you spend preparing to meet them, and then the follow-up afterwards. And one of the things that companies are going to follow up with, if you present them with a business card with the women-owned logo on it that says you're a certified WeConnect International business, and they're interested in what you have to provide, you can provide them a solution to some of their pain points that they have, then the next thing they're going to do is look you up in the network that they have access to make sure your certification is current and be able to share that information with the other people in their company. So you want to make sure that that is up to date. So that's, and that might seem like a lot for now. So, okay, I have to update my profile. How do I do that? That's going to be the topic of our next webinar. The key things you need to do in advance of the conference to prepare. On May 7th, which is next Thursday, we're actually going to be repeating this webinar. So we're recording it. You can also, if you missed anything, you can listen to the recording and go back. You can also show up to that next webinar and ask any questions that come to you in the meantime. On May 14th and 21st, we'll be doing the How to Prepare webinar, and that'll be open just to certified and self-registered businesses in the e-network. So, if you are convinced and you want to register for the conference, the way you do that is to go to the WEConnect International website. Under Women's Business Enterprises, you'll see a drop-down menu with WeConnect at WeBank 2015, and there you'll find the links to register for WeConnect International Day, our reception, and what we have coming up for WeConnect International. You do have to register separately on the WeBank website for that conference, but all the instructions you can find on this drop-down menu. And that's pretty much the webinar. I appreciate everybody coming and want to open it up for any questions that you might have for me. Are there any questions? I either covered it all or totally confused everybody. But again, as I mentioned, if you have any questions, you can certainly contact us in the meantime once you register and ask us any questions then. You can show up for the webinar next week if you forgot anything, or you can email me at l.whitehead@weconnectinternational.org, and I can answer any questions you have about preparing for the conference, whether or not you should go, and the best way to present yourself to these companies. So I look forward to seeing you all next week and the next couple of Thursdays after this, and hearing from you in the meantime if you need me. Thanks.
Thank you.